I was introduced to Carly Evans a little bit after all of you, and I'm sorry to get soppy and emotional again, but she's been blogging on a very worthy topic for some time, and Gavin Heaton and some other really great people got out a book last year about manhood, and she contributed a very meaningful post there about her relationship with her brother. And she sent me another one that I had missed just yesterday, and quite frankly that moved me to tears as well. She has, one of the most interesting things about her, she has a tattoo on her forearm, a Sylvia Plath quote that says that every day I open my eyes and the world begins again. Born again. And that's a beautiful thing. So Carolee, outside of her tattoos, is a PR and social media person. She's been working with a group called headstart.org.au, which won some big awards in New York, the 32nd International Capels Awards, a bronze and a silver, for their work in reaching out and helping people learn about how to get help for mental health in Australia. So before I slip up again, I'm just going to introduce Carolee.
Thank you. Now, I've just been handed a really large glass of scotch, so I start slurring halfway through, that's why. So I have been working at Headspace, the National Youth Mental Health Foundation, for 3 years. I'm just going to briefly talk about our social media efforts. I don't know if you have heard of Headspace. I probably don't want to do a hands up because I might get a little sad because you probably haven't heard of them. But they're basically a national not-for-profit with 30 Headspace centres around the country. 12 to 25-year-old young Australians can walk into one of these centres and get free help with a psychiatrist, psychologist, GP, eating disorders, work and education counsellors. It's basically a one-stop shop where the only criteria is that you have to be 12 to 25. These centres started in 2007, so it's a relatively new organisation. Youth mental health is just recently sort of on the agenda with our founder, Professor Patrick McGorry, getting Australian of the Year. So that sort of put Headspace into a new level of awareness and advocacy. Back in 2007, we had no brand awareness. We were a new organisation. We partnered up with an agency and did a brand marketing campaign. That went really well in terms of the traditional marketing strategy. We did the first round evaluation, a big caddy, which computer-assisted telephone interviews. The evidence that came back was that we were hitting parents. Parents all knew about us and they thought we were fantastic and, yep, great, if my kid ever had a problem, I'll certainly go to headspace.org.au. But we weren't reaching our target audience because they just don't read the Herald Sun or the Australian. They don't watch a current affair. Well, they might, but they don't take it seriously. So we had to look at how we're going to reach our primary demographic. So the evidence review that I did was pretty exhaustive, looking at best sort of case scenarios, where we wanted to go, what we wanted to say, what we wanted to get out of it. We also found that 1 in 5 young Australians go online to find help for mental health. So that was a really key insight for us, that the 1 in 5 young Australians that we were trying to get were already going online, they just weren't accessing the help. So we developed our objectives and we went through a pretty exhaustive risk management strategy, purely because we're dealing with kids that might have anything from anxiety through to eating disorders, through to suicidal and at risk right at that point. So we needed to be really clear about, before we went social, how we were going to manage if we had a young person interact with us on Facebook that was, right at that point in time, suicidal. And that was a whole of organisation lesson and journey for us. I sort of feel that it's not one person that can do social media, so we had to get our CEO on board, our board, all of the staff, our counsellors. They had to all get into the strategy so they knew what the process was. Then we looked at our content. So we had a content strategy and a channel strategy. The content was our second social media, social marketing and advertising campaign. we did a series of web videos which were purely designed to be web friendly, be YouTube friendly, and we didn't want them to go viral. There's no viral rule book, although I did see a tweet today that someone had a viral marketing rule book, so I want that book. But it's just the videos about educating young people about what the signs for mental health are and when they should access help, and also around the stigma of young people with mental health. So a lot of the messaging was young people talking to young people about it's okay to feel sad or anxious or stressed, or if you're hurting yourself or whatnot. So that was our content strategy. Our channel strategy, we learned a lot of lessons. We went on to MySpace. We had 2 good years on MySpace. I really felt that we reached our key demographic and we had some fantastic participation. And then all of a sudden MySpace was like wearing red shoes in Melbourne. It just went off the radar. So we had to basically learn our lesson and say, yeah, we need to pull out because I'm resourcing our MySpace account and our interaction online, and it's just not achieving what we set out for it to achieve. So we went, as well as that, we had Facebook, YouTube and Twitter. I realised today that the Headspace Twitter account is started in 2007, and we have like 396 followers. So it's not for us about numbers, it's about quality of participation and the communication that we have. Our Facebook cause has 5,600 members. The Facebook is our 3rd highest referrer to our Headspace website, which is our call to action. That's where our hub of information, our help seeking, our health promotion, our service delivery is all on our website. So the website's designed to be a landing page, and then they can navigate through, go for virtual tours of our physical Headspace centres, access the fact sheets and help information. We get 60,000 uniques a month to the website, and Facebook's the 3rd highest referrer. So for us that's major, because if we weren't reaching these people, we just wouldn't have those numbers. The numbers to our Headspace centres has gone up by 800% in the time that we did our 2nd phase, which was our major social media campaign. And the numbers in terms, I'm a bit of a numbers girl, so looking at all the insights of YouTube and Facebook and all of the other sort of content and channels that we have, it's 100% Australian. Our 12 to 25 demographic is 80% of our supporters. They're talking about us, they're talking with us, they're asking us questions, and then they're taking our messaging and then talking to their peers about it using our language, which for us is major because we're about well-being, not sort of the pointy end of the market. So to get young people to say and talk in their social networks about, you know, I've got exams coming up, I'm really stressed, I looked at some coping strategies, now I know how to calm myself down. Perfect. That's what we want. As I mentioned, our founder is now Australian of the Year. So that's added a new complexity for our social media. We're now moving into an advocacy role. Lateline and Quanda, he was on Q&A a couple of weeks ago, not one mental health question was asked while he was on that panel. It was ridiculous. But looking at the Twitter stream and looking at our social media monitoring, people are now starting to talk about youth mental health. They're talking about it not in typical teenage, you know, issues and I was a teenager and I went through those issues. They're talking about we need to make this right. This is just not wrong. Our suicide numbers are ridiculous in this country. Young people have issues and we need to access help. The help's not there, and now they're talking about it online. And it's not us seeding that conversation anymore. It's them having the conversation and then coming to us. So I think if there was one thing that I could walk away having achieved, it's that.